At 82, my biggest regret is moving into a nursing home. At first, I thought it was the right decision. A safe place with caregivers, no worries about cooking or cleaning. But reality was different. Everything here follows a rigid schedule, from mealtimes to bedtime. I gradually lost my freedom and sense of control over my life. Despite being surrounded by people, loneliness crept in. Conversations became rare, and the days blurred together. I missed my old home, my memories, and the simple joy of doing things on my own terms. If I could turn back time, I would choose differently. Perhaps hiring in-home help or living closer to my family. If you're considering a nursing home, think carefully. You might not realize how much your home means to you until you leave it. I wish someone had told me 6 things before I made this decision. Initially, I thought it was a practical choice, convenient, well-equipped, with professional care. But I didn't foresee how profoundly it would change my life. The hardest part isn't the small room or the scheduled meals. It's losing control over my own life. Before, I decided when to wake up, what to eat, and how to spend my day. Now, everything is dictated by a schedule, leaving me little room for personal choice. No more picking my favorite meals, no more lazy mornings, no more familiar routines. Life has become repetitive, and over time, I feel like just another cog in a well-oiled machine rather than an individual. If you're thinking about a nursing home for yourself or a loved one, remember this: freedom and autonomy matter. Sometimes, the ability to live on your own terms is what makes aging meaningful. Even the smallest choices, what to eat, what to wear, when to go outside, are no longer mine to make. Everything follows rules. I thought I would adjust, but the loss of independence weighs heavily. My first morning here, waking up in a strange bed, I realized this was no longer my home. No more leisurely mornings with coffee. No stepping outside for fresh air whenever I pleased. Now I wait for meals, for outings, for permission to do what once was simple. Nursing homes offer safety and care, but at the cost of freedom. If you or your loved one are considering this step, think carefully. Nothing is more valuable than the ability to make your own choices. Here, I didn't just lose familiar surroundings. I started losing myself. Without control over my life, I stopped resisting, stopped asking, and gradually accepted the system, even when it went against my wishes. Days blend into a fixed routine. At first, I tried to maintain my old habits, but soon realized resistance was futile. I couldn't go out freely, choose my meals, or even make small decisions without approval. The scariest part? Once you lose your freedom, getting it back is nearly impossible. People adjust to having fewer choices until they stop expecting any at all. If you're considering a nursing home, understand that losing independence isn't just a change of environment. It's losing yourself, bit by bit. Before making this decision, ask yourself, are you willing to give up small freedoms that mean so much? The ability to choose what to eat, when to go outside, or simply wake up when you want. Once gone, you will miss them more than you ever imagined. But my deepest regret isn't just losing my freedom, it's feeling forgotten. At first, my family visited often, and their presence reassured me that I was still part of their lives. But over time, the visits grew less frequent, calls became rushed, and I realized I was fading into the background of their busy world. If you're considering a nursing home, think hard. Once you move in, what you lose may never be regained. In the beginning, I still felt connected. My daughter visited weekly. My grandchildren gathered around me on weekends. I believed distance wouldn't change our bond. But as time passed, visits became rare. My daughter started calling instead of coming. My grandchildren got caught up in school, work, and friends. Holidays, once joyful gatherings, turned into the loneliest days. I sat by the window, hoping for familiar footsteps that often never came. I know my family loves me. They didn't mean to drift away. It just happened. Their lives moved on while mine stood still. The loneliness isn't sharp pain, but quiet emptiness that settles in with each passing day. When you're no longer part of daily family life, it's easy for them to assume you're fine. But the longer you stay in a nursing home, the easier it is to be forgotten. Calls become infrequent, visits sporadic, and eventually, You become a distant memory in their world. I hesitated to call my son, afraid of being a burden. But then I realized this is my life now. Waiting in silence, hoping for a call, a visit, a reminder that I still matter. This is something no one anticipates until they experience it firsthand. If you're considering a nursing home, ask yourself if you can handle this kind of solitude. Sometimes the love and attention you once took for granted become a rare luxury. I thought moving into a nursing home was just a change of address, but in reality, it meant losing the purpose that made life meaningful. At home, I had small but significant routines, making coffee in the morning, tending to my plants, tidying my favorite space. Each day, though simple, felt fulfilling. Here, everything is done for me. Meals arrive on time, beds are made, the garden is maintained by someone else. I don't have to do anything. At first, it felt like a relief. But then, I realized I no longer had a reason to wake up each day. Losing responsibility isn't the worst part. The worst part is losing the feeling that you still matter. I thought retirement meant enjoying well-earned rest. But when there's nothing to do, life starts to feel empty. Days stretch long, filled with waiting for meals, for calls, for someone to visit. I've seen once active people become shadows of themselves. George, a former carpenter who once built incredible things, now just sits by the window, watching time slip by. I feel useless, he told me, and I understood. Without work, without responsibility, what keeps you going? If you're considering a nursing home, think about this. Sometimes, having something to wake up for is more important than anything else. Before moving in, I was independent. I walked daily, cooked my meals, and stayed active. But here, everything was taken care of for me. No grocery runs, no cleaning, no need to move much at all. I thought this would be relaxing, but instead, I watched my body weaken faster than I ever expected. Less movement made my legs stiff, my steps unsteady. Sitting too much made standing up difficult. I used to walk for hours, but now, just a few minutes tires me. The muscles I maintained for years faded, leaving me feeling powerless in my own skin. I assumed rest was a reward after a lifetime of work. But now I know too much rest is a trap. If you're considering a nursing home, remember that comfort isn't always good. When you stop using your body, it deteriorates quickly. And once you lose strength, getting it back is nearly impossible. Not just me, but many around me have declined faster than they expected. People who once walked freely now use wheelchairs. Those who were independent now rely on assistance. The more help we receive, the less we can do for ourselves. If you're thinking about a nursing home, ask yourself, will you still push yourself to stay active when everything is done for you? Once you slow down, regaining strength is harder than you think. Not just me, but many around me have declined faster than they expected. People who once walked freely now use wheelchairs. Those who were independent now rely on assistance. The more help we receive, the less we can do for ourselves. If you're thinking about a nursing home, ask yourself, will you still push yourself to stay active when everything is done for you? Once you slow down, regaining strength is harder than you think. If I had known all this before, I might have chosen differently. I hope you do too. Thank you for joining us today. We'd love to hear from you. Leave a comment below and share one thing you learned today and how you plan to use it in your life. Your thoughts are important to us, so don't hesitate to share them. Reading your comments gives us great motivation and encouragement. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, please like, subscribe, and share. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Thanks for watching, and we look forward to seeing you in the next video.